Thank you for joining. Today's topic from NextLabs will be entitlement management for both MS Exchange and SharePoint. First, we'll talk about the user attributes, 4 different individuals that are defined, Ann, Doug, Bob, and Chris, each with a different set of clearances. Each have the ability to seize certain information based on those clearances that have been defined for those particular users. The use cases we'll be discussing today, we'll talk about Exchange and SharePoint. In this case, it's the day in the life of a user in the first part of our demonstration. Protecting sensitive attachments within email, restricting access to sensitive content that you can upload to a file share, deny delivery messages to unauthorized users, deny upload of unauthorized files to a restricted SharePoint library, and deny access to unauthorized files in SharePoint itself. As we start off, we have Ann's email. Ann is creating an email with a top secret document that she wants to attach and send to Doug. Doug receives Ann's email with the top secret document attached. Doug selects the top secret attachment, tries to open that top secret document, and is able to open the document. Reason being is Doug has a clearance of top secret. Doug can then right-click and look at the properties and check the permissions on that top secret document. In this case, he can view, edit, or print this particular document. At this particular point, Doug now wants to select this top secret document and save it. So he saves it down to his desktop. And at this point, Doug now wants to access a particular folder within SharePoint to move that document up to. He selects the document to copy, and he's given an access denied message back. And the reason being is that he's trying to upload a top secret document to just a standard documents folder, which isn't allowed. So here we have the ability within NextLabs and the power of attributes and policy to allow access of documentation depending on where that user is sitting, in this case at Exchange with his email, being able to look at that document and get in and view the information. But when he tries to do something that he shouldn't do, then he's given an access denied. In this case, there's confines within SharePoint that doesn't allow him to put that type of document in the wrong location. So there's policy set up to not allow documents of this specification, in this case top secret, to be uploaded to just a standard generic document folder. In this next scenario, Bob tries to create an email intended for Chris with secret document attached. Bob informs Chris in the email body that's something that he should take a look at. So Bob's been sent this secret information. He thinks that Chris should take a look at this, and we know from our original user attribute screen that Chris only had public access within his clearance. When Bob tries to send that email to Chris, he immediately receives back an unauthorized recipient message, and that's because, as I mentioned, Chris only has public access within his clearance. And the originator of the message that Bob tried to forward is also notified about the unauthorized recipient. In the next scenario, we're going to look specifically at just the entitlement management for SharePoint itself. So here we have a case where John Tyler, the user, is trying to access files, and they are ones that are tagged PR01, but he cannot access the ones that are tagged PR02. So here he logs on as himself, John Tyler. He goes into the classified document repository, chooses the program documents, selects the PR01 budget, and does a download a copy, brings up the save as screen within his desktop, and he's able to save that document. There's no message that's received back. In the second scenario, he tries to click on a PR2 budget, again tries to do a download of a copy, and immediately receives an access denied. And that's because he does not have the permissions to allow him to access the ones that are PR02 documents. In the next scenario, we have a file to be uploaded that will be tagged and classified automatically and protected. So in this case, John Tyler will go in. Again, he goes into the encrypted documents. He chooses to browse to his desktop, find a file that he wants to upload. In this case, it's the PR01 specifications document that we talked about earlier, which has a top secret specified within the document content itself. He then does an open and says OK. At this point, it would normally just save it to SharePoint, but because NextLabs is part of the equation, here he now needs to specify what he's going to be doing within the encryption. So at this point, we have to say, are we encrypting the document that's going to be saved to that encrypted document area? And what do we need to add to it? So in this case, the name, a title. Is there a classification? What type of program is this? And are we specifying that it is encrypted? In this case, we are. And the answer is yes. At this point, you'll see a message come up on the bottom that it has been modified by John and it is encrypted. So now that document has now been uploaded from John Tyler. It does have that classification automatically specified there of top secret, encryption of yes. It is a PR01 program, and you'll see next to it that it's got the little green icon on it that's showing that that particular document has been protected. This concludes our demonstration. Thank you for your time.